There's a huge range to digital coloring. It can go from very simple and cartoony, like what we see here on the left-hand side with the coyote, to something that takes on a much more complex series of shading and highlights and shadows. We're going to be looking at both this term, and we're going to start off by learning some coloring fundamentals, but I just wanted to be clear about the fact that coloring is a very important aspect to any type of illustration. Color can really draw your eye into an area of focus and make your work stand apart from a distance, or it can make it difficult to resolve what's actually happening within your composition. So colors can basically make or break your drawing. And coloring is one of those fundamental things that we've learned from the time that we were a kid, but we're going to be utilizing color theory, and I'll show you various examples and I'll do some demonstrations for you and share my thought process as I work so that you can get a better understanding of how to think of color when you're actually working on an inked piece. So the coyote here on the left, we're using basic coloring. There is no highlights, there's no shading. This is what we would refer to as color flats. They're just flat colors. They don't have any highlights. They don't have any shadow information at all. You can look at the colors by themselves and you can see exactly what it resolves to. On the right-hand side, we have many more complex things that are working. It's a much more detailed drawing, and so the coloring is going to be complex. If we were to apply a very detailed coloring profile to the coyote, it would just not fit the aesthetic. Right? We can maybe add a little bit of highlights and shading, but if we carry it too far, all of a sudden it breaks that cartoony aesthetic. So that's something that you want to keep in mind when you're approaching a coloring project. What is the aesthetic? Is it a simple cartoony aesthetic? Maybe flat colors or very simplified shading and highlights would be suitable, or is it something that is stylized or leaning towards realism or believability? Then you have to focus on making something a little bit more complex. It should look the part. If we use flat colors on this Ghost Rider image here, it would still convey Ghost Rider, but the more complex nature of the colors just makes it seem more edgy. So in the following videos, we'll actually deconstruct the coloring process. We'll go from start to finish. We'll be using Adobe Photoshop. Can't wait to share with you some of the tips and tricks that I've learned over the years, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching.